Farnbauch joins us from Sweeney Law Firm, and this is an interesting topic. I think you've kind of skimmed this topic before about medical malpractice caps here in Indiana. Is there a change coming?
Fortunately, I hope so. There was a bill introduced last year, Dirk, that was going to raise our cap from $1,250,000, where it's been since 1999, if you can believe that. So we're going on 17 years that we've had the same cap on damages in Indiana for medical malpractice. And of course, we know that medical costs have gone up a little bit since 1999.
A little bit, yeah, right.
But our cap has remained the same. There was a bill that was introduced last year that was not passed. There was a study committee this summer, Governor's Office, Chief Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court, to sort of suggest some changes to the legislation. They were going to try to introduce up the cap to $1,650,000, and that did not pass last year. There was another bill that was briefly introduced this year that is still not passed, but there's a possibility that a bill to increase the cap could get passed this session. But there seems to be interest from a variety of different parties, the Governor's Office, the Indiana Legislature, both parties, to increase the cap. And I think there's interest in doing that because there's word that the Indiana Supreme Court maybe doesn't necessarily feel that the cap at the current level of $1,250,000 is constitutional. So they might just vacate the entire cap on damages, which we've had since 1976. So I think that's what the insurance companies are most concerned about, that the Indiana Supreme Court would say this cap is unconstitutional and there would be no cap, which I think would be a good thing for consumers, but it's probably unlikely. So it looks like at some point we're going to have an increase in the cap.
Why, I guess why, I understand maybe why the cap should be there. How did the cap, why did it even come into place, I guess, to start?
Well, I mean, it was one of the tort reform measures that came into effect way back in 1975, and we've had a cap in Indiana since that time. It started out at $500,000, then it went up to $750,000, and then it went up to $1,250,000 in 1998, but we haven't had any movement in the cap since then.
As you say, $500,000 back in the mid-'70s seems not even comparable to $1.2 million now.
Right.
So obviously, you know, it needs to move. What do you think the likelihood is this will happen in this go-round of the session?
Well, it's hard to say. I think something's going to happen in the foreseeable future, and it's extremely necessary because there are many cases involving catastrophic injury where the medical expenses alone far exceed the cap, and after you factor in what the lawyers have to be paid, and sometimes health insurance plans and Medicaid have to be paid back, that leaves very little money for the people that are the victims of medical malpractice. Yeah.
So obviously it needs to step up as health insurance continues to rise. Seems like the cap should rise along with it. So if you want to find out more, if you've been injured in a medical type situation or any other type situation where you may need legal representation, contact Sweeney Law Firm, and you can do that by going online or giving them a call. We'll be right back here on Insight.